yards.
So how was the temperature last night up there?
It was great. We opened the windows.
Yeah.
It was suffocating when we went up there, but the fans were on and the windows were open, and it's great up there right now.
I was surprised how the temperature wasn't that bad down here.
Well, I think the temperature goes down at night to a pleasant.
Yeah, but not inside the house very often. Well, you know, when it's closed up, so it probably helps down here when you have the windows open up there.
Excuse me. We put a fan in
Oh, that's what
the dogs area there, and it was because when we come back yesterday, the dog room was real hot, so we opened the windows, stuck a fan in there too, and it felt better this morning.
Now I'm knowing that Tim cannot live without his little handheld thing. Look.
I'm just watching the weather. They said
The tropical storm went right on the state line, right on the river.
right up into orange. And it shows it coming all the way up here to Ohio. So we'll probably get some rain.
Seemed like they'd been promising that for days, rain.
It hit. It stalled. I woke up at 4 this morning, and couldn't go back to sleep, so I turned it on, and they were talking about how it sat out there and it stalled, and it kind of scared them a little bit.
Thank you.
Because when they stall, they build up speed. And remember Hugo?
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to be a tropical storm, but then at the last second, it turned into a hurricane. And nobody was prepared. So they thought that's what this one was going to do.
Well, from everything I'm reading from my friends on Facebook, people were in panic mode. They bought every bottle of water at Walmart. You know, they thinking like and then they showed the liquor store.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
There was a
People
run
in there buying
liquor.
fifths of stuff and 24 beer cans in a case. And guy said, I'm going to be at home. I'm going to have my booze.
During Hurricane Ike, we were helping this teacher friend of Kay.
After Hurricane Ike.
Yeah, because their house had 6 feet of water in it.
Oh,
So we went over there to help them. And they would bring around them army things to eat. What do they call it?
MREs?
MR.
I don't know. The army food. When you were in the army, they'd bring you a pack of food.
Yeah.
We got boxes of that.
But so me and Kay was gonna make a run to Sulphur in Louisiana. There was a store open over there. We asked them if there was anything they want. We kind of had a clue what we were gonna get and cook for them, but is there anything else? And they all said beer.
Bring us some beer.
Yeah, Coors, preferably Coors beer.
Yeah.
And we cooked them some sausage. We went back to our house and fired up the barbecue pit and cooked them some sausage, and then brought it over there with bread and stuff.
And fried chicken.
Yeah, they were getting tired of eating that army food. Yeah, and fried chicken. You forgot about that.
The kind of army food that they're selling now in boxes is different than what we have. Because when it was in Europe, there in Germany, they gave us 3 boxes in the morning. That was breakfast, lunch, and supper. And the boxes were about that thick, about this long,
Yeah.
so wide,
Yeah.
and it wasn't very good. But it sustained us anyway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's ours were in boxes like that, but I mean, we'd get a case of it, of those little boxes. And they put stuff in there that's got like 3,000 calories in a meal, and it plugs you up. And Michael survived on that in Dallas when he moved up there and couldn't find a job for 2 months.
That stuff I was telling you about was called K rations, and it was lousy. The better stuff was called C rations, and it came in like soup cans about that size, and
We also got some that was not very good food at all, and then we found out later this is what they drop.
oh, I'm sorry.
Over Yugoslavia or something.
Yeah, this is when there's a war-torn nation and people are starving to death, and we go over there and we drop food.
Yeah.
They drop this stuff. It was terrible. It was nothing but rice, a whole box of.
I remember they had these cookies in there, and I got all excited, and the cookies tasted like I was eating pure dog biscuit or something.
Those rations always included a little pack of cigarettes in there too.
Because way back then, it was okay to smoke, have
Oh, yeah.
cigarettes,
Well,
because everybody did it.
You watch some of those old movies now, and everybody in the movie
Sorry,
is smoking.
my fault.
I was hanging over. Now maybe I can finish my first piece of toast.
I know.
Channel
Because
6
you were
had a live
talking.
feed. You got 2 pieces of toast. I said, you got 2 pieces of toast.
From this angle, it looks like you have your rear view mirror set up.
Oh,
Or are you saying that it's been past your area now? Is it no problem?
It's still in the area.
Dennis and Lucas texted me this morning, and they said it was just raining, but it was no different than any other rain. And Dennis showed his little rain gauge, and he had 1.5 inches. That's no big deal, really, but it's continuing to lighten, and I think they told Lucas not to come to work. I think that's what he texted.
It sounded like a lot of places had closed.
Yeah,
They were gonna close the Rainbow Bridge if the wind was 44 miles an hour and sustained. They would close the bridge. Everybody was worried how they were gonna get to work if they closed the bridge.
To have a day off.
Drive all the way around Beaumont. That's the only way to do it.
they can't turn the refineries off.
I gave you a smaller one, Kay.
Well,
When they
I
see-
like the bigger one.
Oh,
When they-
well,
When they see a storm
We'll do
out there,
that on
they
the
start
next one.
shutting down the refinery. What they call it, shut down,
Yeah,
just in case.
they stay there,
Well,
I think.
Daddy used to have to. But they, so that guy's coming out today. He didn't give you a time or anything.
is today the appointment day?
Oh, he's supposed to call. And he says it'll probably be maybe early afternoon. That's why I wanted to get up, and if you have to buy your lousy strawberries, why? We have to get on the move.
Well,
You
then
know,
someone will have to get dressed to go move the truck.
You know, you've been feeding us and cooking and doing the good stuff.
Yeah,
We need to go to the grocery store. Good grief, why? It's just to get some, what, oranges and strawberries and.
Whatever's on the list, it's a big long list.
We could run, get it for them.
Mom needs to get out. Your hair looks nice. You just got up in the morning and it looks like that? Oh, you don't lay in bed, so that's why it looks like that.
Oh, okay.
She sleeps with her head
She's-
forward.
But she's got a nice part and it's all laying nice, and mine is,
Yeah, but you have hair.
mm,
That's the important thing.
I was thinking maybe that length is better for you, cause that's a little bit longer.
Oh. You guys keep forgetting my age.
Age is only a number.
92.
They showed that woman on, is it America's Got Talent? That was 91 and she was doing gymnastics.
Mm.
She had nice
That's-
looking legs too.
That's because she'd been doing it her whole life.
Yeah.
Because once you would stop something like that, it would be difficult to, but that was good, Jeff, you know, it's just doing what she wanted to do and was still able to do it.
Remember George Bush Senior could jump out of a plane at 90?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all could
He
go,
won't be doing it anymore.
what they call it, tandem. Y'all could go do that. Parachute out of a plane.
Go
Yeah.
skydiving.
Mm.
I'd have to wear a diaper. I'd pee all the way down.
Yeah.
And that jar is still the same stuff you've been buying. It doesn't have strawberries in it, does it?
No, it's a jam.
It's his jam.
It's got strawberries in it.
We found out before you have to buy preserves in order to get
Yeah.
something with the.
Well,
With
but
the
that
big-
means you have to go to the store with your glasses on so you can read labels,
Right.
which I sometimes forget to
this
do.
This is what your mother's been getting, and then said, "Where's the strawberries?" And,
If it doesn't say, like you said, preserves, I guess that's, they don't always have all
right.
that.
Usually they don't. They might have a jar or two there, but you have to hunt for it, and I don't see the big deal about it anyway.
Yeah, 'cause you don't eat it.
Uh-huh.
That's a pretty neat little tripod.
That worked out
Okay, are you
perfect
two
when I was.
boys ready?
I certainly don't want any more. There's something in my eye.
She called us boys.
Yeah.
You're not girls.
I'm glad you correct me when I say lady. When they're not actually a lady.
That just bothers me when they call a murderer or a thief a gentleman.
Yeah.
The gentleman that beat up the old woman,
Go
Well,
on, you guys go first. You guys
there's
go
plenty here.
They found somebody dead in his car out on the beach.
I know, I was gonna read it, but I didn't. They found his wife alive,
Yeah,
his car was burned up, and he's dead.
and it's kind of suspicious.
Yeah, a little bit, but his wife's alive.
I know it. Well, if she set him
Oh,
on fire,
oh,
Santa Claus is here.
Thank you.
yeah, thank you, Kay. Thank you instead of ho, ho.
Yeah, I was
Beautiful day in the neighborhood so far.
Mr. Rogers, you know, he was a World War II, like, he got medals. World War II, I think it was the Purple Heart and some other stuff. I think he was a pilot.
Oh, today is Thursday, right?
Yep.
That means I'll have to check the bank because my $398 Social Security check should have been deposited yesterday.
Mm.
And did you find it? You say you have to check. Huh?
I have to check, make sure it's there.
Mhm.
Should be like 1,200, but you know, because I'm a teacher, I don't get my full Social Security. Hurt the teachers.
It doesn't look like it got toasted very much, Tim.
That's all right. Good enough.
I could go back to bed and sleep another couple hours.
Mm.
You look like you were
Well, I
sleeping.
woke up suddenly, I don't know why, and he had been up an hour before me, and I hadn't heard. He said he got up around 6 o'clock.
Uh-oh, did the dog wake you up?
No, I don't know. I just came to. I didn't hear either one of the trash trucks. And I looked out the window, and our trash container wasn't there. So then I looked at her yard, and hers wasn't there. So she brought ours back and left it here at the corner of the house.
Really?
And she used to do that, and I got on her about it. I said, you know, you don't have to do that. Let me take care of it. And so that's what I've been doing. But I guess she can sort of tell that age is catching up. Let's say.
Well, that's nice.
But you know, she felt like she needed to do it.
Does she live by herself or somebody lives with her?
Her daughter lives with her, one of them.
Yeah, her daughter sometimes takes it out at evening, you know, to be picked up, but then she never brings it in.
The daughter is gray-haired too. So
And they
she's
were
not
yelling
young.
at, she was yelling at her mother.
I was getting ready to say that. Somebody was yelling it. over
Yeah,
there
we got
yesterday.
out of the truck and the mother, the old mother,
Uh-huh.
was walking down the sidewalk and the young, whatever, however old she is in the house. I didn't pay attention to what she was saying, but it was an angry type of screaming at her.
I was wondering if I had dreamed that. But when
No.
you said it, yeah,
No.
we had gotten out of the truck.
She had a knee replacement this year, and she was off work for quite a while.
The daughter.
Yeah, and so her mother told me the other day that she's got pain in that knee now, so said she's gonna be calling the doctor to see what's wrong there. And the other daughter is a school teacher, and she's got something wrong with the ligament in the back of her leg, and she's gonna be laid up for like 10 weeks, and she doesn't have enough sick time coming. And I said, well, she doesn't teach school in the summer, does she? And she said, no, but she doesn't have the sick days. And So she says, I don't know what she's gonna do.
Well, if you're smart, you take those sick days that the state gives you and you carry them from year to year. You don't use all your sick days every year. Like most of my friends were just
Yeah.
taking the day off and I'm doing this and I'm, you know.
Well, I
They
never-
would use all their, we'd get 12
Mhm.
a year. We'd get 7 from the district and 5 from the state. And you couldn't save your district days. You had to use them up
Oh.
or they would pay you, I think it was $40 for each day. You could make $300 a day, but they'd only pay you 400 or 40, I'm sorry. So most people use those days and I used a lot taking him to back and forth to the doctor. But my state days I saved. And if you change districts, those state days go with you. So when I went to retire, I had like 50 of them.
Well, when I left the post office, I don't know, forget how many days I had, but I lost them. You couldn't
Right.
save them. I never had a job where you could save from one year to the next. You either used them or you lost them.
Well, I had them in Mauriceville. I had, I wasn't sick. So I was saving all of them. But when I left that district, all the district days that I had saved up, I lost. And it was around 50. I just lost them. But the state days go with you. So when I retired, and it was getting close, I had like 2 months left or 3 months, I just started taking every Monday off. I hate Mondays,
Yeah.
you know, and I probably had 25 days left and they paid me for them. But like I said, they don't pay you much.
The hospital had a thing, amount of hours that you work, you create a day's vacation. So they don't just say, okay, now you have a week's vacation after you work 3 months here. And you had to earn them, and they would roll over to the next year. And it really helped when I had my stroke,
Yeah.
because I didn't get short-term disability. In the long term, it took 3 months to kick in. And all that vacation time and sick time I had accumulated got us through that.
And then the
Good.
long-term disability has been paying him, Well, it-
217.
yeah, but it picked up after your sick days. It kicked in.
Yeah, it was
And it
exactly
paid-
90 days.
But then as a permanent, not able to go back to work, it's a little over 200 a month that they pay him until he turns 65.
But
Which will be January.
people at the hospital were going to give me some of their sick time and vacation time if I needed it, and I was emailing them back I didn't need it because at 12 years I'd accumulated a lot of.
You had 84 sick days and you needed 6.
Huh.
So they donated 6 days.
That's right, I forgot about that. I never was sick. I think once or twice in 12
Well, you
years.
couldn't be sick because they'd call the house. He went to work with a stomach virus and was working in ICU when the doctor called and told him it's a stomach virus. So you need to leave work. He said, well, I'm in ICU. And the doctor said, well, get out of there. So he got in the car and came home. And by the time he came home, his boss, who has since died, killed himself, we had a message on the phone. Who told you could leave? And then he starts cussing at him on the answering machine.
Yeah.
Not allowed to leave. They set him up on the roof of the hospital and had to climb a ladder to fix something up there. And he was running a fever.
But besides that, I never was sick.
Mm-mm.
I paid attention to those videos that were showing us how to cut down on getting sick at the hospital.
That's why, we are so fortunate right now to be this old, and we don't need any. I guess we have them if we need them, but at the time being, sick days.
Oh,
We're doing okay, so whatever we're doing, keep it
Well-
up. Eat your oranges and bananas and fruit. I think that's what's doing it.
well,
Probably
they've
is.
always treated me good at work, and this, especially in Cleveland. And I had a hernia operation, and the doctor told me, stay out of, you go home and stay put. Don't get in a car and ride or anything. Just stay there for 6 weeks.
Wow.
And I was on salary, of course, but we had been. They didn't. There's a point where they don't pay overtime, so by government regulation. So our boss, I mean the owner, got around that by asking us if we would accept a increase in our salary that would be actually temporary, but it would be an increase as though we were getting overtime, and then the overtime was left up to the individual. You can work some overtime or you don't have to, but if you accept this, well, you'll get this extra money. So we all, of course, all accepted it. But when I had that hernia operation and I stayed home for 6 weeks, they paid me my regular salary plus that additional that was added on. And one of the other guys, he went through practically the same operation that I did, and they didn't pay him that stuff. They said it's whatever the insurance company will pay, and that's all he got. But I got my salary plus the extra without having to do anything for it. And I mean, I couldn't complain a bit about the way they
No.
treated me there. And I heard so many scare stories before I went to work there. I didn't know whether I should be going there or not, because Matsuoka was ruthless with the guys, up to the time I got there, and I didn't see any of that going on after I did get there, except for this one guy. He just didn't get paid. He got whatever the insurance took care of, and
So the fact he was Japanese and you had fought in World War II against the Japanese, that didn't bother you working for a Japanese?
He was a Japanese American whose family was interned in California
really?
during the war, and he was a young man at that time, and they brought him to Cleveland, and he was a draftsman, and he never did go to college, but he became president of the company, and in fact he's the one that hired me, and he's asking me, can you do this and can you do that? And I says, well, I want you to know I'm not a graduate engineer. And he says, neither am I.
That probably was a plus.
Yeah. So I couldn't complain a bit about the way I was treated there. And there was a street in Cuyahoga Falls that was real close to where you and Tom first lived there, called Gaylord.
Gaylord Drive?
Hmm?
Gaylord Drive?
I think that was it, but the salesman for Michigan Tool used to call on us, and that's the one that would grab me, without me knowing who it was. But as soon as he grabbed me, I knew it was him. His name was Gaylord Grove, and but I remember seeing a sign up there right in your neighborhood, the Gaylord. And I think it was Gaylord Drive, but I can't be sure of that. I know the Gaylord was there. And he has since died, but he and Matsuoka used to go fishing together, and they were buddy-buddy.
A long time ago. So enjoy today.
And then
Because things change along the way. famous quotes by Wanda Cunningham.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, well.
Yeah,
What
oh
will
well,
be, will be.
oh well.
Oh, well.
Timmy, would you mind unplugging?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you stop that while I got a mouthful of coffee? I haven't swallowed.
I don't think it's fair that she gets away with that and I can't call you Timmy.
She's got a table in between.
Oh, okay. And a toaster.
And he's got his camera in a unsafe location if she takes a swing.
She makes the toast, so she can call me anything she wants.
What I like is I'll be talking to him and he'll be like this, and I'll say, blah, 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 blah. Huh? Huh? Well, I didn't hear you.
On that,
Oh.
the Big Bang Theory, that, what's her name on there? The
Penny.
blonde? Yeah, she did it yesterday, huh?
Yeah.
If you're like most old people, that Mother and I are, that episode will just get worse as you add the years on, because you can't understand what the other person is saying, and you say, "What?"
I'll be in the den and he's in the kitchen and I'll holler, hey, bring me a whatever. I can't hear you.
But he heard you calling him.
But sometimes I just text him.
Yeah.
He'll be in the next chair, and I'll just text him
Dinner's
because
ready.
I'm tired of him.
Sit there, one who's texting me, dinner's ready.
Well, your mother will say, "Well, I called you," but I think she says, "Howard,"
Yeah.
and I'm in the other room, and maybe the television is on. "Howard, your supper's ready."
That's her.
No, that's not.
Yeah, it is. I'm usually in the kitchen and she's in the other room, and it's got to go around this wall and into the kitchen, and I can't understand her when she's in there.
No, but you can hear me when I'm on the phone talking to someone in another room. You could hear, oh, I heard you tell your mom and dad, blah, 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 blah.
Call
He can
Mom.
hear what he wants to hear.
Exactly.
I
It's called
call.
selective hearing.
Oh, yeah. We all do.
Yeah.
I called Mama. She wanted me to call her, let her know we got up here safely and everything. And I made the mistake and flushed the commode because I was on the commode.
Uh-oh.
Are you sitting on the commode? Is that when you think about calling your mom?
Back at you.
Tell her you're very busy and the time
I
counts.
fit you in because I had to come through the commode. I'll fit you in.
Yeah.
She was laughing about it, but kind of funny. Didn't even think about it.
Well.
It's like telling your boss, I love you.
I never did that.
That was an accident. It was rolling. And without even thinking, he goes, I love you too.
Oh, this, one guy I worked with, when he says when people ask him, how are you? He says, I'm glad you asked. My arm is hurting and I can't hardly walk today for some reason. He builds it up, you know. He's really in bad shape. It was Bud Stein.
Oh,
That's funny.
He's a guy, he was an instructor at night school where I went. And he's the one that wanted to fix it up for me to go to Adamson to get a job there. Because he wanted to get his brother in there too. It
Yeah.
was half brother, I guess what he is. And so,
well, it worked.
yeah, he had to get me in the door first before he could worm his brother in there. And his brother and I used to trade off on driving to Cleveland. And a few days ago, before you came, Jimmy Toth stopped by.
Oh.
I hadn't talked to him quite a while.
Did you even recognize him?
I wouldn't have recognized him because he rides by on a bicycle and he always wore a Ohio State red hat, you know, the school colors. Well, now he doesn't wear that. And he says, I'm still riding by here all the time. And I says, well, I've been watching and I haven't seen that Ohio State cap. And he says, my wife makes me wear this bicycle cap or helmet, you know. And anyway, he looks like an old man. And he was 12 years old when we moved here and lived next door. And before that, I think I told you this story.
Well, let's hear it again.
Well, just one. Well, you might not remember.
That's why I need to hear it again.
Well, Steve Hosey and I were standing out here at the end of the driveway talking there one day, and Jimmy came by and he joined the conversation, and I said to Steve, do you know this guy? And he, no. I said, this is Jimmy Toes. Don't you remember him? Yeah. And then so we kept on talking, and probably 10 or 15 minutes later, we were still out there talking, and all of a sudden Steve says, Jimmy Toes, I wonder whatever happened to him. And I says, hey, Steve, why don't you ask him? He's right here.
That'd be embarrassing, huh?
Gosh.
See, old people are all alike. As they're getting older, they don't realize they're getting older. They think
Pledge
they're still the young
allegiance to
guy.
the flag.
That's funny.
But of course,
Yeah.
Steve isn't here to ask about him anymore.
Yeah.
But I wonder, you know, why he passed away, what happened. And Doug down the street here went to the funeral home, and he found out that Steve had been, well, he was a maintenance man for the Akron Public Schools, and he went around to all the schools doing work and cleaning and that. And they had him stripping the gymnasium floors and refinishing them, and he wasn't wearing a mask or anything, and had those strong chemicals in there. He was breathing that stuff in. So he was 62 when he died.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's younger than us. Huh? Daddy was 69.
Mm-hmm.
He died.
Anyway,
Why don't you ask him?
I think I ran out of entertaining stories. But
Oh, I'm sure there's more. Gotta be more.
I'm glad you're remembering all this stuff, because I sure don't remember
Well,
yesterday.
that and $5 to get me a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
I used to work with a teacher who retired quite a while ago, and she had a whole bunch of stuff wrong with her. And we all knew not to ask her, how are you? Because it led into a long conversation. And one of the teachers, she said, I'm never asking her how she is because the conversation is too juicy. Because she'd go into everything liquid.
Oh, gosh.
Is there any drips left in that?
Yeah, you want some?
Yeah.
Might as
I
well.
was just gonna look and see if there's any.
Might as well.
There's just drips. I don't want any. Do you want some? Do you want some?
Take some coffee.
Move your coffee cup over here.
I didn't want to take it home, just a little bit. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
No, I don't want it.
Caesar
I don't
wine.
want it. I don't want it. Thank you.
There you go. I couldn't imagine him getting up so darn early this morning and
I know,
then
that
staying
worried.
up.
Probably worrying about that air conditioning.
Yeah, did you go down and work on the air conditioner when you woke up this morning?
No, I didn't.
Oh, good.
I jumped in the shower for one thing, and I knew she wanted to get to the store, and I wanna do it before that guy might call and put somebody ahead of us.
Well, I'll answer the phone and tell him, get your butt over here.
Oh, by the way, this guy's phone number, the last 4 digits, the first number in the 4 digits is 4.
4, and then,
4309.
right,
I
You
noticed
saw
that.
that.
You had that piece of paper and you dropped it on the floor, and Mom picked it up and thought he had dropped it, and I picked it up and looked at it. I said, no, that's Dad had that paper, and I saw the number then, 309.
I stuck it on the phone as a sticky note.
Yeah, but it was on the floor.
Probably when I went by, it causes a windstorm.
Yeah.
yeah, right.
Because I'm so big.
Well, I took it and stuck it to the desk.
I put
You
it
might
on
want
the
to save that number in your phone book
Yeah.
if he does any good.
I put it on the phone thinking that if it doesn't identify who he is when it rings, I'll have the number, I'll be able to check it.
Yeah. See, that's a coincidence. Actually, there are no coincidences. That's Grandpa up there saying, you better call this man.
I did. And it sounded as though, I got the impression that he's probably working on somebody's unit
right.
today.
Right.
And he feels like he might get finished like early in the afternoon, and then he'll call. So I warned him, if I don't pick up when you call, leave a message and I'll call you back. So I hope that I'm here when he calls, 'cause I don't want him to get away. I don't
I
want
won't
to put
let him get
another day
away.
on this.
I won't let him get away.
We're not going to eat.
What do you mean you can't come until next week? We needed you yesterday. We need you today. You told my dad you'd be here today. Get here today.
He didn't say he'd be here today.
I know, but I'll say that.
Well, I did call Lynn again and told him that I made other arrangements, so forget about calling me on Friday. And I may be sorry that I did.
Yeah.
But tomorrow is Friday, right?
Right.
And then this dishwasher, the counterbalancing springs that are in the door, either the springs broke or the mounting of them broke, because there was a bang 2 different times. So there's no help on this door.
Yeah.
And Jerry says, well, here's the guy you should call, because he called this guy. I know he was really good, and so I got his number, but I kept holding off on calling because the dishwasher still works good.
Well, build your muscles up. Lifting the door.
Well, I'm just concerned about a toddler-sized kid coming in here and pulling on it, and then find out he's laying on the floor knocked out from the door, because that door is heavy.
Well,
If any-
nobody has any toddlers except
Yeah.
next door.
Well, that's it. When kids come, we watch them. You don't let them just run loose.
Yeah.
You know, the
Well,
kid.
you know, our little puppy could get knocked in the head. And
Our little puppy has doubled her size, I think, since we left
I
home.
think so too.
Okay, I'm gonna go get dressed because I have to move my truck so
You wanna
Dad
get
can
some
take Mom to
clothes
get her
on so we can
strawberries.
go to the store?
Well, I want to shower. That's why I'm waiting to get up.
Well, why didn't you say that? I'd get out of your way and I'd shut up.
Yeah, I see that happening.
Well, you're seeing it right now.
Here, we'll clean up. You go take your shower.